The year was 1989, and the Nintendo Entertainment System was a hot commodity. Kids everywhere were sitting in front of their 200-pound TVs with a gamepad, a notebook and pencil, and a buddy. In fact, I was sitting in the left chair of this picture, albeit with a slightly older TV, playing games and reading my Nintendo Power. Opening presents on Christmas 1989, I received my very first new video game, Mega Man 2. Mega Man 2 had been out for an entire year when I received it, but hey, a 4-year-old really doesn't know any better, do they? I fired that bad boy up, having no idea how to play it. I watched the intro, which was quickly moving up a tall building with the music getting faster and faster until I saw a helmetless blue bomber on top of the building. As excited as I was, I didn't even notice there were 2 difficulty options and button mash to start. After being greeted by portraits of 8 robot masters, I chose Metal Man, not knowing that you should choose Metal Man to start at that time. If it tells you how impactful this moment was for me, it was one of the earliest memories that I have of anything in my life, not just video games. That's right, I've been playing this game for over 35 years. I spent so much time with this game that I even have other memories that are anchored to certain points in certain stages. My parents were divorced by the time I was 2 years old, and I had never seen my mom kiss a man before until one day when I saw her kiss my brother's dad right at this very point in the Woodman stage, and I still remember it every time I pass through this screen today. But despite my personal nostalgia, which we could talk about for the entire video, we're here to review this game. You might wonder why I'm reviewing a game that's been reviewed thousands of times, and there are 2 reasons for that. One, I'd like to eventually have a complete collection of reviews for my favorite games of all time, even if I do the reviews subjectively and don't give them all 10s. And 2, because I think that many reviews get lost in YouTube's archives, and making fresh content keeps these games alive for newer generations. So let's get into this thing. Mega Man 2 was released on Christmas Eve 1988, basically 1 year after Mega Man 1. Mega Man 1 did not sell well despite good reviews, and Capcom did not plan on making a second game, but eventually let the team give it another go. The game was made in their free time using unused content from the first game, which is funny considering Mega Man 2 sold 1.5 million copies and was very well received by critics. First, I'll talk about the graphics. If you didn't grow up with an NES or during this era, you probably think that most NES games look the same, and reviewing graphics here would be short and easy. For some of us around during this era though, that's not quite accurate. There are games like 1989's WrestleMania, which look just terrible. Coming back to Mega Man 2 after that, there should be some easy differences to spot. While this isn't Super Mario Bros. 3 and doesn't look quite as good as later Mega Man games, I don't have a lot to complain about here. Capcom did a nice job sprucing up black backgrounds with moving things, like the gears in Metal Man stage, or the moving fans in Wily 2. But there are a couple of spots in the game where Capcom really pushed the envelope and did some impressive things, like the Fritzies in Woodsman stage, and everyone's favorite boss, the Mecha Dragon in Wily 1, one of my personal favorite moments from all of Mega Man. Overall, I think the game looks great for the time in which it was released. Next, I'll talk about the gameplay and difficulty. Mega Man 2 improves upon Mega Man 1 in my opinion, especially in the difficulty department. Mega Man 1 was a game that was very difficult at certain points, especially the Wily stages. In modern years, some believe that Mega Man 2 is too easy, but from a sales perspective, I think it's just right. The game was not frustratingly difficult, but still provided a challenge in replayability. That's not to say the entire game is frustration-free though, with the Boo Beam Trap standing out in my mind as a frustrating boss where you can't win without a full crash bomb meter and making the exact right choices on how to use them. If you're new to the Mega Man series, the basic premise here is selecting one of the 8 robot masters from the main screen, traveling all the way through their stage to the end, over any obstacles that may exist, finishing the robot master off, and then getting their weapon. At the end of certain stages, In addition to a weapon, Mega Man can also get item 1, 2, or 3, which helps him navigate some of the obstacles throughout the game. These weapon and items all have an energy meter, which depletes as Mega Man uses that item. Some are much faster than others, and some last a long time, like the Metal Blade. Throughout the stages, Mega Man can also find extra lives to keep going in case he dies, and E-tanks in case he runs low on health to refill the health back to 100%, and he can hold 2 of these in his inventory. The gameplay and controls feel tight for the most part, and deaths that occur are usually the player's fault. However, there are a couple sections of the game that are somewhat unfair, such as Airman's attack patterns, though an E-tank could potentially mitigate that situation if the player was in possession of one. If you've never played a Mega Man game, a series staple is that almost every enemy in the game has a weakness to one of the weapons that Mega Man acquires from the Robot Masters. A unique thing about Mega Man 2 that isn't seen in most of the other games is that one weapon, the Metal Blade, absolutely shreds not 1 but 4 Robot Masters, and it's hard to ever run out of because the blades take very little of the energy meter. I do wish that Capcom had left it at just 1 Robot Master weakness, because when I play through the game, I basically never use Leaf Shield or Atomic Fire for the entire run. Now, normally around this time, I would talk about the story, but there isn't really much to talk about here. Dr. Wily is back, he's bad, and he has 8 Robot Masters that we have to defeat, then we have to defeat him. That's it. That's the extent of it. There's a tiny sprinkle of story during the beginning intro, but let's face it, we didn't come to Mega Man for the story, right? So instead, I'll talk about the music. The music here may be the sole greatest thing about Mega Man 2. There have been times over the years where I was at work and just start humming a Mega Man 2 song without even realizing it, and catching myself 30 seconds in. Seriously, the soundtrack here is one of the greatest that the NES has to offer, and it's still revered to this day. Here's a fun fact, Takashi Tateshi didn't know that his work on Mega Man 2 was revered until 2013, which is unbelievable to me. Just listen to this banger in the Crash Man stage. Also, there's absolutely no way I can pass up the track from Wily 1, which is almost universally considered to be one of the greatest tracks in video game history. Just listen to this thing. While this isn't a part of the review, since we're talking about music, I want to give a huge shout out to a YouTube channel, The Covers Duo, who did an entire playthrough of the soundtrack on guitar, and folks, I'm telling you, if you love this game even a little bit, this is a must watch or must listen. So, in summary, Mega Man 2 is a fantastic game. If I was scoring this game from my personal experience with it over the years, it would be a straight 10. However, I'm looking at the game objectively over the 52 minutes that it took me to play through it for this video content. The game looks good, plays very well, and the music is outstanding. The difficulty is very fair overall, and just right to appeal to both hardcore gamers and new players. The weapons are mostly fun to use, and items 1, 2, and 3 were big breakthroughs in stage design for the series until Rush came in Mega Man 3. There are a few instances where the graphics do strange things, notably when fighting the Fritzies in Woodman stage, and when fighting Airman. The game features a password system that players can use to retain progress, which was also a great addition. The minor gripes that I have with the game include the Boo Beam boss, the overpowered status of the Metal Blade, some of the graphical flaws in certain places, and the overall length of the game because it can be beaten in less than an hour. I give Mega Man 2 an objective 9 out of 10, and it has cemented its legacy as one of the most beloved games of all time. I want to thank you for watching this video and coming by the channel. If you like the content, please smash that thumbs up button and hit the subscribe button, and let me know in the comments below what your experiences were with Mega Man 2 or what you think of the review, what you agreed with and what you disagreed with. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next video.